Hi, hello. Thanks for joining me again. This is Rhonda, and welcome to my channel, Eyes That See with Rhonda. Today, the Lord put on my heart to use my platform to speak up about victims of trauma, childhood trauma, including, I guess you can say, SA, incest, any violation, anything that you've dealt with that you don't like to speak with. A lot of times we keep those as secret sins. A lot, especially when they happen when we're very young and they happen by someone that we trusted, family member, somebody where you feel like their job is to keep you safe when that trust was broken and you were hurt in the most, unimaginable way. And I want to start with kind of a series, I believe. I was a victim myself as a child and through my teen years, and I think sometimes that leaves almost like a mark that you can't see. It's a spiritual darkness that I think other people can sense because it definitely took me through life, and I've found myself in positions and in relationships and just kind of almost I want to a fog of bad decisions. And because I had this secret shame that I kind of held and I kept to myself because it wasn't something that you discuss with friends or family or anyone because it was just your secret shame. You must have done something to make yourself that unlovable or to make yourself um, that victim. When that's how you think when you're young, your mind kind of is like, what did I do to become this type of, this type of what I must be a bad kid, because this isn't right. So I'm going to kind of do a breakdown of the healing from the trauma, how you can try to heal once you, I call it, this is my part one, once you finally come out of that fog, because I consider the fog that time where you're kind of either you disassociate with the fact that you went through trauma or you push it to the side. You don't ever deal with it. Like when I say push it to the side, like to the point where you hardly don't remember it happened because you have to focus on life, right? You can't focus on painful past memories. You are busy and you stay busy and you intentionally want to keep busy with anything. Um, So you stay busy so you don't have to look at that pain. You don't have to look at that. You don't have to deal with that. It's not time to unpack that yet. So you kind of stay in this fog. And people during the fog stage, I would say, and it can last for years. It might even last some people for lifetimes. And I pray that does not happen. I pray that God can use me or use others out there that have been through this experience to help lift that veil and bring you out of that darkness. To let you know, number one, you're not alone. This was not your fault. Does not mean you're unlovable and you're unworthy. It just was a terrible, terrible thing that happened. You can still move forward. You can still forgive and you can still learn to trust God. And your life will be better for it. It's not, you don't have to hold on because so many people keep that in. They hold on to that as a shame. They stay with that guilt and it manifests in different ways. You can see the trauma. It doesn't just go away when you become from a child to an adult. It stays with you. You're still that fragile child that just hasn't been able to unpack and process what happened because you weren't really, that's not supposed to happen. So you go through and you do the best you can because that's what we do. We compartmentalize. We have to live our lives. We do the best we can. We go to work. We want to have regular jobs. Like my life was more like an actress. You pretend everything is great. You pretend everything is fine. And on the surface, everything looks just fine because you work double time to make sure it doesn't look any out of place, because you don't want people to see that shame you feel on the inside and that disgust and that guilt. You don't want it to come out on the outside because you want love, you want acceptance, you want to be valued, you want to be seen as valued. So you don't show the shame, you don't show that bad stuff that happened because you must have been bad or did something bad. You don't talk about it. You don't know what to do with it, so you just pretend it doesn't go. But it's weird. It's like it just grows and it festers through the years. You grow up and you can still you work and travel and get married, have a family, but there's a little seed that just it's still there. It's still there, and you don't want to do it. You're like, go away. I have things to do, but it's there. And it just festers, and sometimes it starts developing. It can develop into addictions. It can develop into habits because you want it to go away. So and then sometimes drinking makes everything numb. So then that's an avenue. I drank for many years. I drank away all of my problems. Created more problems, actually. That didn't solve anything. I've tried drugs. I've had every kind of type of outlet to try to push myself into not thinking about bad things in the past and traumas. I stayed in a fog for quite a while. I didn't want to, I was in a huge state of denial and shame and unforgiveness, and just I just wanted to paint a new me, and I wanted the old me to just go away and stay gone. So I will get into what finally got me to come up out of the fog, when I finally was broken down and enough, just almost like the river just flew out and cracked, and I just started remembering events and things, and just it just came back like a flood, and I didn't want to believe it or acknowledge it. And that was probably one of my darkest times because I couldn't make the memories go away no matter how much I drank, how much I partied, how many drugs I did, how many men I slept with. It did not take away the pain, the hurt, the shame, the guilt. It didn't, and it wasn't empowering, because I know girls now say hot girl summer and we're empowering ourselves, and there was nothing empowering about it. It was just you're just trying to block something else. Um, so you're just moving one for another, and it didn't solve anything. It didn't fix anything. It made things worse. It destroys you because you're holding on to something that it needs to just come out. Like, just it has to come out. It just has to come out. And when you learn how to speak, to find your voice, you learn how, and you acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay to sometimes not be okay, and it's okay that you have a bad day sometimes, and it's okay that it might take some time to let go. But just know that you're going to be okay. You can be okay. You can remember the things, but train your mind. And you can, and God showed me this, and God did this for me, where you understand the difficulties and the pain and the hurt and the trauma behind everything, but you can see it through. Um, Even though it was something dark and it was something awful and you don't wish it to happen to anybody. There is an evil world we live in. This is an evil place. And these things happen. But there is a God who can, if you let him, He can heal you from that. He can take those pains away. He can take that trauma, that pain from that trauma. He can take that from you. He can help you heal. He can help you forgive. He can help you learn to love who you are. And he can tell you who you are. Because sometimes we're in so much pain, we don't listen. We don't listen when God says, hey, it sounds like it's a whisper. And we're like, oh, I can't do anything right. This is why this happened to me. These are things in my life. And they're all supposed to be the much set up because I must be bound for these things because these terrible things happened to me when I was so young. And that's not all you are. That's not who you are. And God does love you. And He's there with you. And He's whispering it, but we're so hurt we can't hear. I'm with you. I'll be there. I'm still here. God's there. He's waiting. And I thank you for joining me for this part 1 to discuss the fog. And then we'll go into part 2 when we finally do step out and we get your voice and you move through the process of starting to remember, starting to forgive, and starting to process. So thank you so much for being a part of my channel and joining me. If you do like anything or if it resonates with you, please comment, like, share, subscribe. I'll check back with you guys soon with part 2. Take care. See you.